possible by 343 Studios.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs just won another football game, but that's not what we're here today for. Congratulations, Chiefs. We are here to talk about our good friends over at MICTUNING, and I need to do some tuning of myself because weather changing sucks. But why does it suck? Well, it sucks because it gets cold and then it gets warm and the allergies go nuts and it looks like the sun's trying to come out. So that's weird because it's raining and the sun's out. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about guitars and, no, I'm just kidding. Our good friends over at MICTUNING have been kind enough to send us over this really, really awesome, well, it's all kinds of stuff. Control switch board thingamabob. So those of you that have vehicles and you're wanting to run some controlling setup, but you don't want to have to run a bunch of wires through your firewall, and you want to be able to keep all your electrical stuff up under your hood or in a closed location where it's out of sight and not seen, this is the package for you. Okay? And what I mean is one wire goes from the controller, which is here, into the cab. One wire. The cool part is it has this disconnection thing here. It looks like it's supposed to have a thread on deal. Oh, it's right here. Let's see. Or as Ena Straight would say, possum on a gun bush.
Ooh, I get it. Ooh, I love it. I love it.
That's right. So that thread's on there like so. So that takes that off so you have room to thread it. This part here goes into the board. Very, very nice. See if I can pull this sucker out of here. Very, very nice hard control box. Has your power. I got to figure out what some of these buttons do. Each one of these buttons a deal. I think you can set these up for Momentary. Very, very nice. Has a little epoxy on the back. It does come with a breaker so that you can wire this up. Should come with everything you need here. Let's see here. Yeah, it has a little breaker thing in case you can turn it off and on. All that good stuff comes with the box. Yes, we have all of the supply cables here that you're going to need to hook this up to your battery. So you're going to put this somewhere close to your battery. Comes with all the screws and the extra stuff you're going to need to hook up the little, should be two of these different things. So you're going to have two of these, I believe. Maybe that one's for that. Yes, you're going to have two of these. So one of these is going to go on here, I think. It's actually this one because it's got the holes that lines up. This piece is going to go on the back of that, and that's going to thread in. And then you're going to be able to take this and mount it to whatever place you want. And then you will have some screws that go in. Like so, and they do have threads in them, so then you can change the path of your controller. Comes with this. Not for sure what this is for. It also comes with a fused block, so you can hook this up to a switched power, so that this will only have power when the truck's on, which is probably how we're going to do it. We're going to hook it up to the fuse block. Looks like it's got a deal on there for 2 fuses if you need to hook 2 fuses to it. It's already crimped and everything with a power deal. You also have this piece in here. I'm going to leave a lot of this in the box. This here, I'm going to see if I can find a bolt on the side of the firewall, or the fender. And then that will allow you to mount this to it. You actually have to mount this a certain way. Probably like this or something. I think it goes like that, or this. So what this is you open this up. Right there is the motherboard where you can run your your switches. I wish it kind of said which switch was what. It all is epoxied. Everything plugs in here. You got your switches here. Very cool. Oh, there's some extra fuses under here. It's awesome. They supply us with extra fuses because they all probably know me that I'm probably going to blow 1 or 2 while I'm trying to hook this thing up. It has a cool little lid. It goes on this and it locks down. Now you can, if you want to, just mount this just like this to the side of your wall. You can hook this to something. I'm going to probably use this because this is a very heavy, sturdy bracket. And then I'll be able to hook all this stuff up and run my wires out. So, very cool there. Super excited for this. I'm going to move all this stuff here off the side. Then it also comes with some legends, and I'll probably go ahead and try to get those set up maybe before, but I got to kind of figure out which input on that is what. Again, power block, that'll have to be bolted down somewhere. This is an 80 amp fuse deal. So you can pop this open. And then that there, if something happens, it's going to pop your breaker. And everything's all locked in. So very cool there. You've got your ends here that you're going to connect some wires to. That's your fuse breaker. That's another fuse. And then you got your taps here you put on top. Keep stuff from touching. So very cool there. And then it got this little piece here. That locks on to protect it. So very cool there. We'll just go ahead and put this back in its baggie. Now, if you want to pick one of these up for yourself, they've had some sales going on. They do have this. This is a backlit green, so this will light up green and all that. Of course, there's our extra power cords, power wires, and our control harness. So switches here we have. You got navigation lights, fan, fog, fan 1, fuel 1, hubs, locker enabled, fuel 2, fan, front lights, rear lights, side lights, flood. So we'll probably hook, because I've got some floodlights that are going on the headache rack here. These are actually really nice stickers. Let's see here. So yeah, very, very cool stickers there. You guys check it out. I'll give you guys a little closer up here just so you can see these. All different kinds of cool stuff. GPS, cargo. All right, guys. So we are here in my 2006 Ford F-250, and we are going to show you how we got this MICTUNING switch box set up so far. Now, I've got 5 out of the 8 switches being used. Well, will be used once everything is hooked up. I'll kind of show you the few things that I have hooked up. I've only got 2 things hooked up to these at this time, but I will be hooking up more. I'm also going to show the console thing under the hood and how we have that mounted, and just so you can see how we did it. This was a super easy installation. Not a very hard thing to do. It seemed like it was hard to do. There is a couple things that I'm going to talk about the breaker that came with it. Absolute junk breaker. I use my own basically to hook it up. The breaker that came with it, the little deals where you tighten up the cables, literally snapped right off. Their connections broke, so not super happy with that, but we found a different way and we made it work. So I am going to be, actually, at the current time of this filming, there's another product review showing up. So Amazon is actually just a few stops away, so we may have to break the action here to pick up the next package. So let's see, it says 3 stops away, but as you all know, his GPS is probably a little off. He's more probably like 2 stops away because his GPS is slow. But I'm going to start you guys off here, and I'm going to kind of run through a couple things. Now, you can set some momentary pat deal switches on here too, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So you have your power button. As you can see, it all lights up. Now, I wish you could shut these off to where they're not lit and only the ones that are being used are lit. You do have a dimmer, so you can dim that down. So that's full brightness. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 brightness settings, and that's a lot better. You've got your power button turned off, turn it back on. It goes right back to the same setting it was on. So it remembers how bright you had it set on there. I do have it set on a bracket here, which I had to end up using a different kind of screw on one side because the one screw that came with it wouldn't work, wouldn't thread in. The threads were all messed up on it. So, I don't know. I made improvise, use my own screws. It is mounted on there. It isn't coming off. I just mounted it to a couple spots where I actually had a few holes had already been for something. I don't know if that was over there at one time. This is my salt spreader control, or maybe this snowplow control was down there. I don't know. But the wire goes down back behind my SpeedTech light controller for my light bar. Goes back, runs down, runs under. This cable here's got pulled out because I had to run some other wires. Just haven't got it fixed yet. So then it goes down and under, and there's a grommet underneath there that I was able to tap to. I'll put this under here, and I don't know if you guys will be able to, probably can't see that, but it runs through there, runs through the firewall, comes up and runs into the hood. Now we'll show you here in just a minute what is under the hood. But the cool thing is, so I've got this set up. I'm actually going to brighten this up all the way real quick. Well, not all the way, we'll go a couple down. I've got my side lights here, which will be, I'm going to set that to be my left side, which are going to be the side lights on my headache rack. The flood here, I have for the flood option in my running board lights. If you haven't seen the SpeedTech light video that we did here on this truck, go check that out. This side light over here switch, there's nothing hooked to it right now, but that's going to be the passenger side light. So I got side down and side out. I couldn't find like an alley light or a work light deal. Now these here backup lights, I'm gonna have a different bumper coming for this truck, and it's got some work lights already in it, so those are gonna get hooked to that. Because there's two of them that's gonna get hooked to a switch. I believe there's 4 lights in a total. Two's gonna get hooked to a switch, two's going to get hooked to a reverse light switch. And then we've got my strobe light switch here that runs the strobe lights in the running boards. Now eventually I've got some stuff here that I could hook up, which we're talking about possibly maybe putting a light bar on the snowplow, so we have an extra like work light bar. And I'm contemplating on maybe putting a small light bar on the back of the headache rack facing back. Haven't quite decided how I want to do that, so we will go from there. But very nice, I like it. So far hasn't run my battery dead, just sitting here. Really nice, and I really enjoy it. Now let's go out here and I'll show you what's underneath the hood, and then I'll show you how the switches operate and control stuff on the outside. Okay, so now we are under the hood, and I was able, had a spot right here next to the battery. Cabling's a mess, don't dock me on cabling, but so basically these wires here were already here. I've got the big black wire here going to the negative. This here gets all taped up, but that is my breaker. I've also got an inline fuse in this as well, and it also goes directly to the battery. So that's all set there. It worked out pretty good. This here has a latch. If I can get it off here. So inside, it looks like there's a red light showing it has power. We have a few things hooked up here. So it basically starts on the, gosh darn it, getting all wet here. That's why I'm on the GoPro, because it's raining. But the controller that goes to the cab plugs in right here. You also have a deal to hook this up directly to a fuse, so you can turn this, so this doesn't have power draw when there's no, like you could hook this to a switched power if you want to. And when you turn your key off and on, it, what do you call it? Will basically shut off and on. So you got your ground here. I believe these are, yes, so one, we've got this stuff over here hooked up to the switch number 2. So you have a ground and a hot in each one of these little screws. You will need a smaller Phillips slash flathead to be able to fix these. They're all 10 amped. That's a 20 amp, 30 amp. They're all amped differently. And the cool part is on the lid, they also give you spare fuses in case you blow one. It is epoxied. Now you do want to put this, I do have some wires over here. These are the wires that will allow me to be able to sync these two lights together, which those lights are those lights down there, and I'm actually probably going to be changing the flash pattern on those sometime here soon. So there's that. And then this over here is just a hot and a ground. This runs my, and I have this ran over to there. That allows me to run my flood mode. So I have a flood on one switch and the strobes on another. Now when I run my alley lights on the side of the headache rack here, which there'll be a video coming out on those soon, I will run the driver's side one on this one, hot and ground. And then I think the other one is on the other side, which I think is going to go over to here. So you don't have to worry about running grounds and all that. Of course, I did use the bracket to mount that to the side of the, I don't know if you can see it, to the side of the fender well there. And I made that all work just perfectly. So it worked out good. But I want to change my flash pattern, so I'm going to do that real quick on that and then go from there. But yeah, very simple little deal. When you're done, you just put the lid back on it. I'm just going to set the lid up under here a little bit for now, and it all fits down. Now you guys can make your wiring look a little bit more better, and I probably will once I get everything hooked up the way I want it to be, and everything hooked up. But yeah, so I'll show you how things work here real quick. We'll go ahead and turn on a couple switches. It's basically just an on and off switch. So we'll turn your power on, and I'm going to turn on the flood. As you see, my floodlights are flooding there on the side. You turn on the other one, and now they're strobing. So those are two of the ones that I have hooked up so far. I think these are very cool. Now I know there's other companies that make switch boxes like these. I know Oxbeam makes one. If you want to see the Oxbeam kind of hookup, go check out Mossman. If you want to see anything Oxbeam, go check out Mossman 381, I believe. Real good guy. He knows his stuff. Really awesome channel. Does some cool snow plowing lighting setups. He does a lot of stuff with razors and side-by-sides and truck upgrades, and I think he's working on an S10 or something like that. But go check him out, show him some love, tell him the Nathan343 sent you. Hit the subscribe button on his channel, and if you like this kind of content over here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we got more stuff like this coming up in 2025 that you do not want to miss. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my patterns here on my lights down there, and we're going to get this all fixed up and closed up, get this video ended. Also, if you want to make one of those buttons in there a flash pattern like Momentary button, you can. You just got to go in, I think it's push and hold the power button, and then you select which switch you want, or something like that. Just follow the instructions in the manual, and then it pretty much explains it. But all the wires come up right up in here for the controller. It goes up, down, and there's actually a grommet. It's right back up in there that goes right into the dash. The one that's over here has got a lot of stuff in it. So yeah, very, very awesome. So all right, so we went ahead, got my flash pattern changed to just an alternating back and forth on my lights there. So got that changed. MICTUNING switch is in, covers back on. I did go ahead and leave these two yellow wires. They are nowhere near a hot source, so they will be fine. Just left them bare if I ever want to change patterns. I may end up running a Momentary switch up in there so that I can change those. Eventually, I think I want to get the new updated bars with the new patterns in them. So